Hey guys, welcome back. Got another Hinderer Eklipse 3.5. I did one just a few days or a week ago from my buddy Bobby Legs, who loaned it in for me to help him sell, which that one did sell. This one was loaned in from Wild About Sporting Goods, and it is also for sale because this one is absolutely brand new. And so I figured, because it's a different color, different blade shape, different blade material, all of that, that I would do another video because I think these are really cool knives. So let me just give you a quick shot of the specifics. Put that box off to the side, and we'll just dive right into the specs first, and then we'll talk a little bit about these cool knives. 4 3/4 inches closed, 8 1/4 inches overall, 3.61 inch blade, 3.3 inch cutting edge. This particular one is in CPM 20 CV. Blade thickness is 0.164. Overall thickness is 0.533. This is currently running on bearings. It is the TriWay Pivot system, which we'll talk about in just a second. And it weighs in at 5.2 ounces. Okay? So this is, as we said over here, the Harpoon Spanto blade. Very nice stonewashed, as we'll zoom in here. Nice stonewashed blade. Black G10 scales with a bronze lock side. CPM 20 CV on the blade steel there on the back, but other than that, a pretty sterile blade. Quick logo on the front, blade steel on the back. I'm good with both of those. These are made in the US, as we know all the Hinderers are, which is cool. And right down here on the flipper tab, you can see that's the TriWay logo. Okay, very cool. Has a steel lock bar insert on the lock bar. They come tip down, but the clip is reversible for tip up and tip down carry, but they are not left or right-handed. You know, it is a right-handed design. Okay, but you could carry it in your left pocket, and it is able to manipulate it left-handed because it is the flipper tab, and there is ambidextrous thumb studs / stop pins. So you could, you know, conceivably carry it left-handed and be okay. It would just fit in your pocket the wrong direction, right? But I have a few left-handed friends that do carry right-handed knives in their left pocket because they are left-handed. So for those of you that are new to Hinderer, the TriWay Pivot, they give you the phosphor bronze washers and Teflon washers, as well as bearings, which are already in this knife. So if you choose to want to run it on Teflon or phosphor bronze, you have that ability just built in with the packaging, which is totally cool because everybody, I mean, I think it comes down to a lot of personal preference, a lot of bias maybe, because somebody on YouTube said that bearings suck and phosphor bronze is the only way to go. And maybe you believe that. Maybe you don't. You know, again, there's no judgment here, but there are multiple ways to run a knife. And every manufacturer does things differently, right? So what's very cool about this is you can choose. And you can try them out for yourself to see what you think is smoother, what you think is more reliable over time. You may run the bearings for a month or two. You may then switch to phosphor bronze. You know, it gives you the choice. I think that's I think that's really cool to have that flexibility in a knife. And then you can also, if you're into bearings, a lot of people do this with the Holt Blade Works, different knives, and you know, with a lot of different makers, they're buying aftermarket bearings from Skiff. That's a very common one, and you can just pull the bearings out of this Hinderer and measure them up, and then go on the Skiff website for one and see if there's a different style of bearings that might work better for you, right? So I really do like this knife, and I should have grabbed my XM24 before I started filming, but that's in the other room. So I will size comparison with other knives because, well, that's just how life goes. One thing that I did not like about this on the first Eklipse, and it is the same here, is, and it's hard to tell visually, but the lock side and the show side are different thicknesses. The show side is slightly thicker at 0.172, whereas the lock side is 0.163 thick. So visually I can tell, and so it bothers me a little bit that they did not build it in such a way where the G10 scale was the same as the titanium scale. But at the end of the day, it's so minute that it really wouldn't bother me. Whereas some other knives that I have owned and traded and sold have been drastically off that you could spot from a mile away, and that's a big turnoff. Now you can get this in titanium, and or you can buy titanium scales for a scale for it and swap this one out and put a titanium scale on there. So that's an option as well if you hate the G10. So I have seen titanium scale for, like $200 typically on, I specifically was looking for one for the XM series before. It was about $200. I did not look to see what a titanium scale would cost for this one. So, but very cool knife. I do love this blade shape. The harpoons are growing on me. I think my Frank Fisher Battle is the only other harpoon modeled blade that I have. And it's kind of grown on me. It's different. It gives a little bit of aesthetics to it. So it's not bad. So let's do a couple size comparisons. We got the Sharpie, Spyderco Delica, Quiet Carry Waypoint. How about the Benchmade 940? And for giggles, how about the Hellraiser P-Series? So, all in all, Hinderer makes some great stuff. I didn't think I was going to love them. I traded a Sebenza for an XM24, thinking I would just flip the XM24 because it would be easier to sell, and ended up liking it. So, the Eklipse is a cool one for sure. I think it feels great in the hand. I can feel the pocket clip here, but it's not a hot spot. I would move the pocket clip anyway, so you would probably feel it a little bit in the back of your hand, which I'm totally fine with, as long as it's not uncomfortable, right? I feel the whole knife in my hand. So saying that you feel the clip, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, right, on its own. But it works great on the bearings. It's not super just drop and fall shut and guillotine your thumb off. I think it just works. It's just a really smooth action. I have my XM24 is on washers, and it works equally as well because mine is an older model. I would have preferred it on bearings because I just kind of like the feel of bearings personally a little better, but it's not, so it's not that style. Anyway, there you go. The Eklipse 3.5 with the Spanto harpoon blade. Thanks for watching, guys. I do greatly appreciate it. Have yourselves a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow.